of this course helped me to be more civically engaged because you were involved in the entire process of one species. Most importantly, the species that we covered were fish. Fish is a big form of sustenance here in the islands as well as all over the world, and kind of focusing on one species helped us to understand more of the bigger picture and how economics plays a role in what we eat. We started off with the ahupua'as and connecting the historical significance from learning how the native Hawaiians survived using these ahupua'as and how these have then grown into what's now a sustenance for a lot of people. And we delved more into understanding and knowing the problems that face this species today, which is overfishing and the kind of rules and regulations that have to be implemented in order to maintain enough fish for everyone. It relates to me because when I was at the council meeting, you could see how a lot of people are affected. You could see how people from different islands come together and how people basically from all over the western region all have to come together to solve these problems that are not just facing a certain few, it's facing everyone. And so being a part of that from historically from the ahupua'as to the council meetings and then to the auctions and seeing how it gets from the ocean, the decision political process and how it ultimately gets to your plate, it makes you become more aware of all these other factors that go on into your food. And it was a really interesting experience because you got to see from all points of view, people who are involved, different organizations, the types of decisions that are made from all the way, hundreds of years ago with the ancient Hawaiians up until now. I was initially apprehensive about the course only because economics is not an easily digestible topic or subject to understand. Like Dr. Lindo said in the beginning, it's kind of like learning a foreign language, so it requires a lot of practice and reading and trying to understand every day. My perception changed over the semester because as the semester as we moved along in the semester, I kind of got to see how economics can play a part in our everyday situation, in our current situation within the country, and kind of just like everyday tasks. One specific example was the Aina-based learning at the fish pond, where we had to transport rocks from one end to the other end, and we were using a barge to move the rocks. And some of us were just kind of standing on the side waiting for the other people to bring back the rocks. But we figured that if we utilized all of our labor there, we could transport the rocks faster and we would be utilizing everyone that was present, and we would be able to get it done in a faster amount of time. So that's how I felt, how my perception changed. I think that also taking this class, I feel more confident because of all the work that we put in this semester into going forward in macroeconomics and other economic courses in the future.
After this course, my view of the fishing industry kind of changed because at first I kind of saw it as like a monolithic industry where it was more uniform, but as I began to look at it with more insight, I feel like it's being more separate entities entwined, so that kind of made me realize it was more complex than I first thought. The hands-on experience kind of added a nice touch, I feel. It kind of strengthened my basic knowledge, I guess, of the economics. Or it restructured it in a way, kind of.
Before I'm taking this course, I just thought fish which was served for my dinner just was there. Since the restaurant sold fish meal, I did not think about what process was needed to be served for me. But now I see the fish as thankfully because now I know the fish which was served for me. The process was very complicated, and their quality they are divided by quality. So now I understand the price structure of the fish market.
Number 9. How did the course help you see economics?
Now I a little bit understand about economic. um, there is no free things in economic theory because I need to think about the opportunity costs, and now I understand more about the market structure. So and demand relationship between demand and cost. So I can be a more clever customer than before.
On the menu, I would actually buy or get a fish that is on the season on the menu because I feel like it's more cheaper. It helped me see economics because I can see other prices and other analysis that they're different from each other, and not all products are identical, but are all different from each other. But everybody tries to produce at the same limited time.
After taking this course, I would look at fish differently because knowing that some of the retailers bring in the fishes the night before, like they would go to the fish auction, purchase the fish, cut it up that day, and sell it. It's a lot fresher, and I would rather pay for quality fish over a fish that's imported or frozen because I now want to support local communities and local retailers, and that is why I would purchase from locals over something that's imported. The place-based activity enhanced my learning by when we went to the fish pond, we learned a lot about how everything works, and as a team, to get one thing done, we all have to work together. So we're using all of our resources to get things done faster. It also enhanced my experience for this course because not a lot of classes do field trips and group learning, and I think together as a group we can talk amongst each other like, oh, this is what I learned, or this concept relates to this. So we're both learning together and connecting concepts so we can better learn economics.
Before I took this class, economic class, I thought that any company, as long as they make a accounting profit, they will make this their ultimate goal. But after I took this course, I understand about to ensure the company make a profit, the company need to consider the opportunity cost. The fish auction tool, I have experienced the fish market, how the fish come, how the fish go to the market, and how they determine the price in the market, and from the wholesale to retail or to the restaurant and end up to the customer. So I understand more about demand and supply.
The perception of the fishing industry changed. Before I took this class, I never really understood why fish was so expensive, where certain kinds of fish were more expensive. So when I would get like Pokeballs, I didn't mind the previously frozen, but understanding now that that they could sell those for cheaper, and that they do sell them for cheaper because of it being previously frozen and that it's not as fresh. Gaining understanding of the reasoning behind why they do that has allowed me to be more open about actually eating the more expensive fresh fish. So yeah, I think this class is really fun. I love having to watch videos beforehand and getting a grasp of the principles and economic theories and stuff before we actually go to class and Dr. Lindo explains it to us, because the way our society is going with shorter attention spans, I think that like this is for somebody who grew up watching TV and not really reading much books. I think this is the way to go to get me to retain information and kind of understand it a little bit more. And so for me, it's a lot more fun than just having to sit down and read a textbook. It's like I get to watch like 1 minute videos after the other to understand what I'm trying to learn. And so I think that's really cool, and I really enjoy